Hey guys, what's up? It's UniformWarrior, and today we have another paracord tutorial. This one is another UniformWarrior original, and I really hope you guys like it because it took me 4 hours. And by 4 hours, I mean it took me solely 4 hours to make this thing and record it. So let me know if you like it in the comments. I really hope you do. Like I said, this is an original, but I mean it's a pretty basic idea, so it's also inspired from an Instagram post, which I will link in the description if you want to see it. It's pretty much the same thing from the picture as far as I know, but the reason why I'm calling it an original is just because this style is the first one that I've seen on YouTube with a tutorial, so I don't really know if that classifies it as an original, but either way, I hope you guys really like it. So you're going to start out with a lot of paracord. For me, I'm using 2 colors. Feel free to use 2 colors or to use 1 color, or actually, honestly, you can use more than that. In the netting, if you wanted, you could do a black across and then a different color going up and down, or like a blue or a different shade of red, something like that. But in my case, I use 2. So you're going to start with your main color, which in my case is the burgundy, and you're just going to go ahead and find that center point and then measure about 14 inches from the end of that center point and then do a cobra stitch. So you're just going to bend those strands back towards you and then take the left strand, put it over the middle 2 strands, take the right strand, put it over that strand, behind the 2 middle strands, and up through the left loop. You're just going to tighten that. After you do this, go ahead and check the length again. Mine I showed as 14, but I think it ended up being around 14 to 16, so if you want it to be like the perfect size for like an iPhone or something like that, then go ahead with the 14 to 16. And by the way, I'm not talking about the iPhone Plus because that thing is ridiculous. I'm just talking about the normal iPhone measurement, so about, what is it, the one with like the 4-inch screen or something like that. So I'll actually put the exact measurements of the specific pouch I made in the description just so you guys know. So after you tighten that cobra stitch, you're going to do another cobra stitch. So you're going to alternate sides and take the right strand, put it over the 2 middle strands, take the left strand, put it over that strand behind the 2 middle strands, and up through the right loop. And you're just going to tighten that, and then you're just going to continue doing cobra stitches. Every single time you're going to want to alternate sides, and to remember which cord you're supposed to put in front of the 2 that has the loop on the top side, on the side closest to it, if that makes any sense. I'll point it out or something. So you're just going to want to do that cobra stitch almost all the way down to the bottom, but as you can see here, I ran out of cord once again. I mean, I don't know how many times I plan on doing this in my videos, but the amount of cords you need on like the little paracord info screen, that's what I'm calling it because I have no idea what else to call it, but on that screen that tells you how much cord you need and stuff that I have at the beginning, on that screen it's going to be updated so you won't run out of cord if you're doing the same length and stats basically as I am. So just know that. So I just go ahead and clip those strands and add some more cord so I can finish it, and I just leave a little loop there. You could do it a little bigger than that one. That one ended up being a little bit small, but I kind of like it. I think it's actually a good size, but you could make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, depending on your preference. You're just going to have two of the black strands going through there later, just so you know. And then you're just going to want to go ahead and bend it into the shape that it's going to be in, so the pouch shape. And honestly, you can make it any shape that you want. It's just going to be a little bit more challenging, but I think that the box shape or rectangular shape is going to be the best for this. So just go ahead and bend the sides, and then you're just going to clip those 2 extra burgundy strings and singe those. You see I just press on them with the lighter there just to make them a little more secure. So now you're going to bring in your black cord, or whatever color you have, but the second cord. On the main screen, I'm pretty sure I have these split up into 4 different parts. This is going to be the 18 feet of black. And so as you can see here, I just go ahead and use a fydd tightening tool, I believe it's called, but basically it's a tightening tool that has fydds inside of it, which is pretty sick. It has 3 separate ones, and they're all 3 different sizes. I believe it's one for 550 cord, I think 425 cord, and then micro cord. I'm not sure about the middle one, but I'm almost positive the one is 550 cord and the other one's for micro cord. I just don't know what the middle one is. Started using the fydd like you're meant to, and that just didn't work for me because I'm not very good at using fydds, but I mean, I realize that's my own fault, but I actually used the medium fydd, the middle fydd, to basically just pry into the Cobra stitch later on, as you'll see. And that ended up working. So now you're just going to want to pick up the burgundy outside whatever, and you're just going to want to go to the side that does not have the loop in it, so basically the side that you started at, not ended at. And then you're just going to want to find the 2 strands that are going down through the middle and loosen those. Then you're just going to pull your black strand through there. And here I actually make a mistake. I pull the strand through to the middle of the black cord, but you actually want it to be at the end of the black cord. And so if you are smarter than me, you might have picked up on a better way to do this, which is actually, instead of pulling it all the way through to the end, just pull the last end back through the loop. So you're actually going to want to pull it right through the end, so there's about maybe 1.5 feet left of the black cord on the other side, just because you're going to need that for later. Then you're going to take that black strand and you're going to run it across, and it is going to go through that second loop there from the top. And the reason why it's a second loop is because the first loop is obviously covered by the strand that went through there already. So if you look at the side of the Cobra stitch, you might notice there are basically 2 sides of loops. You have the little loops going down on the right and the little loops going down on the left. The loops that you're going to put the cord through are always going to be on the inside of what is going to be our pouch, if that makes any sense. So just go ahead and pull that strand through. And then your cord is going to go through the loop right under that first loop. Obviously the one still on the inside of the Cobra stitch. And then you're just going to tighten that. Don't tighten it too much though, because you don't want it to pull anything out of proportion and look weird. And then that strand is just going to go across down through that first loop. Once again, the loops that you're going to be using are going to be the ones on the inside of the pouch. As you do this, make sure the cord is not twisted in any way. You want it to be nice and straight because you won't really be able to fix it. And then you're just going to continue this pattern. So then 1 loop down and back through towards the middle of the pouch, and then across and then through the next bottom loop. And you're just going to do this all the way down until the end. But as you're doing this, something that helps is if you grab both sides of the Cobra stitch like I do here, and you just kind of pull them against each other up and down. It kind of helps straighten out the loops because you want to get a nice even lay of those strings. You want them to all be the same length. And so as you can see here, I had to go back and pull all the cord through because I did not do it right the first time. But yeah, that's why I let you guys know so you can do it right the first time. And you're going to stop doing this cord once the next loop is in the corner of the pouch. So as you can see where I stopped here. So you're just going to put that last one through that last bottom corner, and then instead of going down through the bottom one, you're actually going to do the other side. Now it may seem easier to go and start the checkered pattern now, but it's actually not, because you're going to need the end of this black cord to go back up. So then you're going to take that black strand and it is actually going to go across the Cobra stitch and down through that loop. And you're going to want to flip over the pouch so you see the other side, so you realize that you're going to want to go through, you're going to want to put it through the loop that is on the inside of the pouch. So you're just going to want to pull that through. And then you're going to start over essentially. So now you're going to pull it through across on the other side, and then just continue what you were doing with the other cord. So once you finish that, you're just going to want to pull it through that last one there. and then it is going to go across through that first Cobra stitch spot, and you're going to want to loosen the other loop that goes down through the middle, and then pull that black strand through there. And then you're going to go ahead and finish with the black strand, so make sure you pull the bag apart, kind of like I said, so it tightens all those black strands. And then as you can see here, I took off one of those little, I don't know what they're called, cord stopper things, a cord lock I think it's called. I took that off of a different bag that I had, which was not a paracord thing, because I do not have any of those, but I do know that Board Paracord sells them, and they look a lot better than the one that I'm using here, because the one I'm using here is a little too round. So I'll link the ones to Board Paracord in the description if you are interested in those. Then you're just going to want to take those two black strands, and they're just going to loop around sort of and go through that red loop. And you don't want this to be tight, you just want to give it some leeway, so kind of measure out where you want it to be. So I left kind of like a nice loop there, and then here I just cut off some of the extra string just to make it easier to put that cord lock over those. So you just want to put the cord lock over those and then pull these strands through and pull the cord lock to where you want it to be, and make sure those cords aren't twisted before you move on to the next step, and make sure the cord lock is in the direction that you want it to be, if that makes any sense. So for instance, I want the locking mechanism button thing, whatever, on the top, so make sure you turn the cord to be that way, and then go ahead and measure out where you want the cord to stop, and then you're just going to tie a regular knot. So go ahead and take those two strands, put them over your two fingers, wrap them around your fingers, and then cross in the middle, and then go ahead and put those two strands through that loop, and then tighten that just to the cord lock. Then go ahead and cut a little bit off of there, and then melt those two strands. You can also cut them straight up against the knot, but I prefer this look. Also, sorry if it seems like I'm rushing. I am. I think it's like 1 to 2 hours of footage that I'm trying to go through. And now you're going to start the cross section. So here you're going to take the 5 feet of black cord that you have, and you're just going to go ahead and run through that first loop there on the bottom. So the one that's almost in the corner there. And you're just going to want to run the cord through and just leave about a few inches there. And then you're just going to do a regular checkered pattern. So you're just going to go ahead and go over the first strand, under, second strand, over, under, and then all the way to the top. And then in a second here, I do something that will help you with this if you're having trouble confusing the bottom lay of strands with the top. You're just going to want to pull that through. And then I go ahead and bend a postcard or whatever those are, like the 3x5 cards, and I just put it in there, making sure to divide the strands evenly. So the bottom strands are all on that bottom side and the top strands are all on the top side. So that just lets you know which strands you're going to be using, and it gives something to press the fit up against. And And also, by the way, I would definitely recommend using a fydd for this because otherwise it'd be pretty miserable, honestly. You're just going to take the cord, push it up to the top there, and then run back through. And you're going to go over, under, and just keep going until you get to the bottom. You're going to want to pull that cord through, not too tight, because it will move that top cord pretty easily. And then you're going to run that cord through that next loop. Just so you know, all these loops are going to be filled. All the inner loops from the Cobra stitch are going to be filled with the black cord. So just keep that in mind. So you're just going to want to pull that strand through there. And then guess what? Yep, you guessed it. You're going to pull the strand back up through there and do more of the checkered pattern. So you're just going to once again start with whatever you ended on last time. So you're going to go over that bottom strand, under the next strand, over the next strand, and so on and so forth to get to the top. And then you're just going to continue doing this, and it's going to seem like there's too many loops at the bottom to fill, but there really aren't if you're doing the exact measurements as I am. It's just you really have to fit that cord in there, which is a little bit hard to do. So every time you do a strand going across it, you just want to pull it to the top. And then once you finish that, you'll get down to that last loop there. You're just going to pull that strand there. Once again, like I said, all these loops should be filled. Obviously on this first side, we'll get to the other side in a second. And so you're just going to want to pull that strand through. And then here you're just going to want to find any extra cord and just go ahead and pull it through until the checkered pattern looks even. And I actually wanted to leave those strands until I did the other side just in case I needed to tighten any of them. So I would suggest doing that also. And then you're gonna go ahead and redo that whole thing. So you gotta do the other side now. So you're gonna take the 5 feet of black cord and you're just gonna put it through one of those inner loops. And I don't know why, but this time I started on the other side, I think. I don't know, I can't really remember which one I started on. It's hard to tell from the video because I flip it around so many times, but it feels like I started on the other side. But anyway, you're just gonna wanna run it through there till you have just about 3 inches left on the bottom there. You're not going to use that cord for anything, so you're just going to want to take the cord and put it into the fydd. What I do when I'm doing this, I just go ahead and cut the cord at a slant and then I burn it also at a slant. I just twist the fydd onto the cord without it being hot or melted or anything, just because that works when you're doing this. And then you're just going to continue with that checkered pattern once again. Like I said, just so you know, this is kind of a tough project in a sense. I don't typically enjoy doing the ones that are as hard as this one, but if you like this sort of thing, then go ahead because it ended up being really cool. So I just wanted to go ahead and give you a little bit of advice. If you're making this and you want it to be, and you want the space to be thicker than an iPhone than just fitting an iPhone, so what you can do is you can make another burgundy Cobra stitch outside, but you would have to do this at the beginning and you'd have to add it right in to the first Cobra stitch as you do them both, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there's a way you can do it. Maybe in the future I'll remake it, but I'll make it thicker, almost like a basket or something of that sort. So if you guys are interested in seeing one that's a lot thicker, like that's an actual cube shape, let me know in the comments because I will make it. But yeah, so just know that there is another way to make it thicker. It doesn't have to be this thin because it really is only about thick enough to fit an iPhone. So like I said, if you want to see a cubed version of this, then let me know in the comments because I will happily make that. Maybe that'll be like a Christmas special because I'll have to have a lot of time on my hands for that. So once again, you're just going to want to go ahead and tighten any of the checkered pattern. And then once you feel comfortable with how that looks, you're just going to want to clip all of those black strands off. And then you're just going to want to melt them. And those I would press down against it just to make sure that they're nice and secure. And then you're done. I know you're probably very thankful to hear those words if you have, for one, made this or honestly even watched this whole video because it's, I'm sure, a long video because I have a lot of footage to edit, but I really hope that you guys like this video. So if you did enjoy it, then go ahead and leave a like, share it, subscribe to the channel. We're growing in subscribers a lot. Right now we're about like 860, so that's pretty sick. And just so you guys know, there's a very small chance of me getting 1,000 subscribers before New Year's. You know, there is a decently small chance of it, but that would be pretty awesome if you guys could, you know, subscribe and If you're already subscribed, then, you know, share any of these videos. That would help me out. I would really appreciate it. But anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.